Hey everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. So for today's video I'm going to be doing a full face of first impressions. I know these are some of my favourite videos to watch on YouTube, so I hope you enjoy them as well. So if you do, please give this video a thumbs up, that lets me know that you like this kind of content, and just keep watching. So I have a bunch of products in front of me that are new to me. They might necessarily be new products, but I haven't tried them yet, so I'm very excited to finally dive into some of these. Some of these I've had for a while, and I wanted to wait until I had pretty much a full face of first impressions to do. I think I don't have a new contour to try, but everything else, yeah, I think everything else is a first impression. So like for a while there I had like a number of primers that I haven't tried. I have a number of lip products that I haven't tried, and then like I didn't have any like eye primer or powder and stuff, so I've been kind of accumulating things so that I could do a full face of first impressions. So I'm going to start with the eyes the way I would normally do. And I actually just today picked up an eye primer. I got the Nars Smudge Proof eye base, and I'm trying to remember who it is that raves about this. Someone raves about this. I think it might be Sabrina. No, actually, do you know who it is? It is Anna from the Anna edit. I think Sabrina has mentioned maybe the Smashbox one, but I know I've written down a recommendation from Sabrina, and I know I wrote down a recommendation from Anna, and I think this was Anna's recommendation. My personal holy grail primer that I always use is the Urban Decay primer potion, and I'll use that in either the clear, just the anti-aging one, or I'll use that in Eden, which has a colour. I did try to get the one from Nars with the colour, but they were out of stock, so I just got the clear one. So what I might do, just for comparison's sake, is put this on one eye and put my regular one on the other eye, and just see how that goes. So it comes with a little doe foot. This is clear, isn't it? It looks white. Oh yeah. I like the Urban Decay Eden one. There's a nice bit of pigment to it. When I swatched the Nars one in the shade Light, there was colour there, but it did look like it would blend out kind of more sheer than the Urban Decay one. And when the girl said to me that they were out of it, she said they're actually not that different. So that felt nice and smooth and nearly kind of silky being blended out. The Urban Decay one, I think, is a little bit more, feels a little bit more tacky than that, and a little bit, maybe not. Maybe just a little bit thicker or something. But I have oily skin and I have oily lids, so I do get creasing in my shadow. Generally I can't use just a concealer as a primer because it's not long wearing enough. It will crease. If I want to do that, I need a proper eye primer underneath. And for me, the Urban Decay has been the best that I found. I have heard that some people have found the Nars is better, but to be honest, I haven't found any problems at all with this, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't get any creasing in my eyeshadow with this, so I don't know how it would be better than that, but we'll find out if it's any different, or maybe the price is different, I'm not sure. Okay, so moving on to shadow. This is another area that I didn't have like many options, so I might have to mix in some like regular shadows that I already use. But I do have a few options of things to test out in some part of the eyeshadow. So I have this little Wet n Wild palette. I don't know if I've actually tried the Wet n Wild palettes before. I know they used to be a big thing that a lot of people used on YouTube and stuff back in the day. This is obviously a little blue palette in the colour I'm His Breezy. So there's like a matte white, a matte navy, a satin bright blue, a glittery shimmery dark blue, and a glittery shimmery light blue. A lot of blue going on there. That's why I might need to incorporate just some neutral shadows of my own. And then I also have these liquid glitter shadows from BPerfect. I've recently done a few videos testing out different kinds of liquid glitters. I tried out the Stila one and the Pixie one and did like a comparison of those two. And then I did a separate one testing out the one from Penneys, or Primark if you're in the UK. And these are the ones from BPerfect that I haven't tried. I was given this at the launch for another product, which I will also be testing in this video. And then today I received another one of these in PR. So I will see how I get on with these, and if I like them, I will be doing a giveaway on my Instagram. So I haven't decided when that's happening. I haven't decided what day this video is going up because I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to edit it. But hopefully I can align the two. So if you're interested in that, then my Instagram will be linked down below as always, and you can go check it out and see if it's happening over there. So I've got those two things. I think if I'm having blue in the eye, I'll probably go for the silver one. There's like a silver one, kind of a browny bronzy one, and then a coppery one. And then I have a highlight palette that I want to try out in this video, but I might be able to incorporate this into the eyes, maybe not, I don't know. So I have the BPerfect Subzero highlight collection by Mmmitchell. So this was the launch event that I was talking about, where I was gifted the glitter eyeshadows. It was a fabulous event up in Dublin. You might have seen me post on my Instagram stories about it and on my Instagram feed actually. Mitchell did a fabulous masterclass and we got to meet him afterwards. And to be honest, I was just so grateful to be invited to the event. And of course I was thrilled to get my hands on this because I hadn't been able to get around to getting it. So it has taken huge restraint to not touch this. I have swatched it, but I wanted to like try it for the first time on camera. And having seen like what he did with it in the masterclass, I'm so excited to use it. And like I'll be just kind of incorporating it into this look obviously, but I do want to do some kind of like more dedicated looks using a lot more of this too. So they'll probably be over on my Instagram. Maybe I might do a tutorial with it. So I have colour there, I have glitter there, and I have shimmer there. So I do need some mattes and some neutrals. So I just grabbed the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe, what's this called? Dark Magic palette. Just use some of those matte neutrals. And while I'm doing that, I'll chat to you about another product that I was hoping to actually do a dedicated video on, but then I was hoping to maybe use it in this video, and I'll chat to you about that in a second. So I'm going to start with the Wet n Wild palette, and I'm going to take this matte base shade. It's like basically white, and I'm using that on a Bdellium Tools 776, and I'll pop that on the brow bone first and see how pigmented that is or not. Yeah, that's just lightening it up. It has like a slight blue tinge to it. I thought it was straight white, but it must be like a very, very pale blue. Okay, so then just to get my crease going, I'm going to dip into Shush from the Jaclyn Hill palette. So, back in November, I placed an order from Kylie Cosmetics from the holiday collection. I ordered the Chill Baby eyeshadow palette and a little mini lip set because I haven't actually tried any of the Kylie lip products. And there was a few nice colours in there, and I thought it might be a nice way to try out the formula. So I got those two, and then I also got a loose highlighter that I'd been wanting to try. So I ordered that in November, hoping to have it to do a video on the palette anyway for like Christmas, like the holiday season when it would be relevant. And Christmas came and went, and I still hadn't gotten it. And we were into the new year, so eventually I checked my emails to see when it had been sent, and I had an email saying that your package is ready to go, we'll let you know when it's shipped. And then I didn't hear back saying that it was shipped. I think I just saw that and thought, okay, it'll get here when it gets here, but it's ready to go anyway. They've packed it up and, you know, they're sending it. So when I saw that, I sent them an email and I was like, hey, I've been waiting like 6 weeks for this package. And now that I've looked back at the emails and I tracked it like on the Kylie website, you can put in your order code. It says that it's still in LA. So I was like, hey, you didn't send me my package. And they said, oh, it looks like it missed a scan with the courier or the delivery people, whoever they were using. And it has been lost in transit. So they were saying that they did ship it, it just didn't get scanned and then it got lost. I don't know. Basically, they didn't have it or something. So, but they said we'll send you another package, a new package. So I was like, fine, whatever. I've waited this long. It's too late now anyway to do the video. I'll just wait for this to come in. And then I got another email saying, actually, the lip kit that you ordered is now sold out. So don't worry, we'll refund you and we'll still send you the other two. But anyway, that was fine. I was like, okay, that wasn't like a product that I was really excited to get. I just wanted to like test out the formulas. I would have been happy when I received it, but at this stage I wasn't too bad. I was like, fine, I'll get the other two. So then 2 weeks later, the package finally arrived, which was yesterday. And I opened up the package, the highlight looked good, opened up the palette and it didn't look like the freshest palette. It didn't look like it had been used, but it wasn't like fresh. It didn't look like a new palette. There was like some fallout from shadow around the palette that I kind of just cleaned up. I was like, oh, it obviously just got a knock while it was in transit. You know, that can happen sometimes, especially when a powder is pressed quite loose or it's like more of a creamy formula. Sometimes it can just fall apart a little bit, which it looked like it did from Home Alone. That shade looked like just the edges had kind of crumbled away a little bit. So at first glance, that's all that seemed to be wrong, was that there was a little bit of fallout. Dusted that away and realised that Home Alone, the pan was actually sitting out of the packaging at the corner of it. So I didn't know whether it was just glued in badly, the quality was bad, or it had gotten a really bad knock and had been hit out of the packaging or something. But then I realised the one next to it, which is Pray for Snow, was also slightly sitting out of the packaging. Not so much as the first one, but it was also sitting slightly out of the packaging. So that was annoying. Then I noticed that two of the shadows, Cold Hearted and Night Before Christmas, just at the edge of the shadows, it looked like it had been, the only way I can describe it is it looked like someone with kind of foundation on their hands or something touched the edge of the shadow, and it was just smudged with a little bit of foundation on the edge. Like, it doesn't look like someone with clean hands just smudged the shadow. Another product has been smudged on the edge of it, and that's with two of the shadows. So that was annoying. And then I looked at one on the end, Cuddle Season, which is a matte like cream colour. I noticed that there was a scrape across it. Now, it wasn't like a big gouge out of it and I was losing product and stuff, but it wasn't untouched. You know, there was a scrape in it, and there was also a little nick out of Bundle Up. Now, that wasn't as big of a scrape, it was just a little nick. If it was that on its own, I would hardly even bat an eyelid at it. But the fact that there was all these different things wrong with it, it was annoying. Okay, I'm talking so much and not moving on with the makeup. I'll get back to that. So I think I'll go into the eyelid shade, this bright blue here. It doesn't look like there's much shimmer to it. It looks more kind of like a satiny, sheeny colour, so I'll chance that in the crease. And we'll just see how this blends into the brown. I'm hoping the brown will kind of mute it down a little bit. So anyway, and I was posting to my Instagram stories, and this was quite annoying, but I'd waited 2 months. It was already too late to do the video. I was just annoyed about it. And it wasn't like it was unusable, you know. It was just really disappointing after waiting for 2 months. And I kind of figured that one of two things happened. Either this is just one of their normal products and their quality isn't great, and sometimes this happens with their palettes. They get, I don't know, scratched up, smudged, the pans come out, and this just happens sometimes, which obviously that's not good if that's their quality. Or what could have happened is that because they were sending me out probably the last of their Christmas stock, maybe it was known that this palette was the way it was and it was held back and it was kind of one of the last palettes. And in that case, they would have knowingly given me one of these palettes after waiting so long for the package, which is also annoying if that is the case. Because if that was me, and if I, number one, knew that this person was waiting for the package that got lost, and then we didn't have one of the items out to give them, and then it was going to be one of the like slightly damaged palettes that we're going to have to give them, I'd like give it to them for half price or something, just to be like, look, it's not unusable, the product is fine, but it's like not in the best shape, it's not totally fresh, so here's a discount or whatever. So then I was actually trying to film this video yesterday, and I sat down and pulled out all my products and pulled out that palette because I thought, you know, that could be the palette that I use for like maybe my crease colours and stuff. So I kind of cleaned up the edges and stuff and the fallout, and went to try and push the Home Alone and Pray for Snow back into their place, push the pan back down. And as I was doing that, I realised how loose they were, and they could actually just pop right out. So they were totally loose in the packaging. They obviously weren't glued in properly. It was just one more thing that annoyed me. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to email them and see if they can exchange it for a fresh one, because it's not like a cheap product, and I paid for like shipping to get over, and I had to wait so long, and they didn't have the, you know, all the problems that went with it. And it's too late to like review it now anyway, because it was in the holiday collection. So I'd rather just try and get like a nice new fresh one for myself. So I emailed them and I haven't heard back yet. So I don't know. Again, it's a holiday collection, so they could actually like not have any left and they might be sold out, and there might be nothing they can do for me. But yeah, because I haven't heard back yet, I didn't want to use it in case they wanted me to send it back. I doubt they would, but But as a consumer, I don't want to do anything wrong that I shouldn't be. If I'm looking for an exchange, I don't want to be using it. So moving on with the eyes. It's just looking kind of greyish blue. That blue wasn't the easiest to blend out. Blues aren't the easiest colour to formulate and work with. So I'm going to then take the navy shade and pop that in maybe my outer crease. Actually, I think I might do a cut crease, so I might take that all the way across and just blend up those blue colours a bit higher so I can cut it out. Sorry, I took so long on like just starting the eyes because I was talking. Oh, and also when I realised that the pans were loose in the packaging and stuff and I didn't know whether to just use it or try and get an exchange, I put a poll on Instagram and like it was like 88% or something said to try and get an exchange. And I actually got a good few messages from people saying that they've heard this happening to people with Kylie, or that they just know about Kylie's bad track record, which I also did as well, but I thought that was kind of when they were a new company and a lot of people had like shipping complaints and quality complaints and stuff. But no, apparently it's still happening to people. So that ain't good. I'm going to deepen that up even more, just with that same navy shade. Because the thing with doing a cut crease is you have to remember you're going to be cutting out the bottom half of that crease colour, so you want to have some left above the cut crease. The first few times I did cut creases with this kind of newer technique of cutting it out with like concealer and stuff versus the old way of just going in with a dark shade in the crease. The first few times I just found I wasn't getting the impact because I would do my crease colour in the normal place and then cut it out, and I'm basically covering up half of the crease colour that I wanted there. So I just have to get used to just bringing it up higher, knowing that I'm going to be taking some of it out. Okay, so we have a nice navy crease going on. I'm going to go back to the brighter blue that I first used in the crease. Just on the edge here and just start pulling that out a little bit. I've pulled it out and down so that I can clean it up this way. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it looking messy like that for now. And then I'm going to grab a concealer. I have the Makeup Revolution concealer. Now this actually might be too light for me at the moment because I have tan on. So it might be too light for me as my under eye concealer. We'll see how that goes, but I'll try it out as like a cut crease concealer anyway. I'm sure it'll be fine. I haven't come across a concealer that's bad for that yet. And I'm using a Crown SS033. So I'm just going to pop some on the lid and then look up. And just see where that marks. I need a little bit more, it needs to be a bit more wet. Okay, so I'm going to see where that transfers into the crease, and I know I need to go that far anyway. I feel like I'm having to dip back into the concealer a fair bit. I don't know, is that because the coverage isn't there? Even though I've heard that it's good coverage, or if it's drying too quickly or something. Oh, and by the way, I've obviously decided to do a full cut crease rather than just a half cut crease. I'm going to bring it right out. I actually don't really like this concealer for cutting this crease. It's just not gliding the way I want. That took a lot longer than it needed to. So let me try and do this one quicker. Yeah, this just isn't my favourite concealer for cutting a crease out. I think it's a combination of its setting and the coverage not being there. It just wasn't gliding across and I kept having to like dip in and get more. See, even that now I'm trying to do a little wing underneath this to connect it, and it's, I don't know, just doesn't want to. There we go. Just need to really load up the brush. Okay, they're not even, but I'm sick of doing that now. I'm going to tie this hair back as well. I just want to move on with the look now and just make it look nice and not so messy. It has started to crease. Obviously it hasn't been set or anything yet, but I'm just going to pat those creases out. Okay, so I am going to go into the Subzero highlight palette and use as an inner corner highlight anyway. I'm going to take a Crown C513 pencil brush. Just pop that. And here's like that kind of icy blue highlight, so it's perfect. So this is one of the BPerfect Glamour glitters in the shade Starz. Okay, so I'm going to start by applying that on the inner half of that crease shape and just see. I'm going to go in with the applicator first and then see if I want to use a separate brush. Pat out that creasing again. I'm actually going to just dab that off before it dries because I think I want to put something under that, just looking at the consistency of it. So actually what I might do is go in with that light blue shade as a base for the glitter all over, and then I'll brighten up the inner corner a little bit more. So I'm just taking that on a big shadow brush just to pack it on. And it's literally just going to be underneath the silver just for when there's any gaps in the glitter. Okay, now we're going to go back in with the silver and just paint that on over the top. Some of the liquid glitter shadows that I've tried, when you pop them on, they give the effect of a liquid shadow, if you know what I mean. It's more solid in colour, there's more of a base colour there. Whereas this, I'll zoom you in a while, but there's loads of glitter in it, but the base is a little bit more translucent. So when it's on, then it gives the effect more of a loose glitter, if you know what I mean. Because when something is completely pigmented and has more of a coloured base underneath, it just looks more like a liquid or like a metallic or something. Whereas that, even though it has kind of like a wet effect to it, you can see all the particles of glitter and it looks like I've pressed it on all over. So that's why I wanted something underneath. I wasn't sure if that applicator was going to be okay, if it was going to be too big, but that was actually perfect. I was able to get right up to the line and onto the edge without making it messy. So while that's drying, I want to brighten up the inner corner now with something quite bright. So I'm using the Armed and Gorgeous palette, again from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, and I'm going to take VIP, which is basically a shimmery white. Pop that into the inner corner. Just so that pops a bit more. Okay, so now I have a liquid liner from Crown. This is the Studio Glam liner in Blackout and it's waterproof. So I'm just going to line my lash line first. This mightn't be the best one for going over glitter. Okay, I'm actually going to switch liner and see if my Essence one might go over the glitter a little bit easier. And then what I'm going to do is wing out the liner and also kind of outline the cut crease shape. Okay, so a million years later, that's done. Now I have a black pencil to try out. This is the Eye of Horus Smoky Black Goddess pencil. I know I've heard Sharon Farrell rave about this over the years. There's the pencil on one end and there's a little smudge thing on the end. I don't know if I'll need that or not. So I'm going to pop this in the waterline into the lower lash roots and then I'll smoke that out with shadow. Not the blackest of pencils. So as I said, I did just push that into my lower lash roots as well. And then I'm going to take the navy from this blue palette and smudge that out. It does seem to set the pencil. Heard good things about it, so maybe that's why. Could be long wearing. I just wasn't very impressed with the blackness or creaminess of it or anything. Okay, so now I'm just popping on some mascara. I'm not using any First Impressions mascara today because I'm actually in the process of doing a little battle of the brands when it comes to drugstore waterproof mascaras. So I bought a whole bunch and I'm kind of at the moment pitting them against one another and hopefully we'll find a champion. So I'm filming those clips when and where I can, and I'll put them together in a video and that will be coming. Okay, so I do have a pair of lashes to try. This is the Little Mix lashes and these are the style Jesy. This is what they look like. So they have like a winged out shape to them. They flare out at the end and they're a kind of separated style but fluffy at the ends. They look quite nice. I've glued those a little bit too far in this way. Oh, I'll just do it again. But style wise they're okay. I feel like they would be nicer if they were a bit fuller. I'd probably use them again, but I wouldn't be buying them again. Okay, so now that that is the eyes done, I will zoom you in so you can have a look at everything. So this is how the eyes turned out. That glitter is stunning. I can feel it on my eye, but then again it is like a huge coating of it. There is a bit of creasing going on. I don't know if that is the concealer or the glitter. However, dare I say, it looks like there's a little bit less creasing on the Nars side. So maybe that's the Nars primer coming through there and holding up a bit better on this side. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because there's so much product going on there. You know, there was the primer and then concealer and then powder and then glitter. So there's a lot of product on there. So I will be interested to test out that primer again in a way that I can see more of the results. Okay, so now I have a brow pencil from Penneys. It's one of the little twist up kind of micro brow pencils. It was only €2.50 and this is in the shade Dark. So I'm just going to use the spoolie on the end to brush up. And I think I'll do a little bit more of kind of a feathery brow. Featherish. I'm not going to outline, I'm just going to do hair strokes if I can. It's not the most pigmented, which with brow pencils can be good when it's kind of a harder formula if there's not too much pigment in them. But I just find the hair strokes there weren't really showing up too much, so I've kind of ended up shaping them a little bit. So this isn't going to be a feathery brow. So I don't think it would be the best for that kind of a technique. But because it's not like super pigmented, it is easy to kind of fill in a brow without it getting too blocky, even though it is a dark shade. So better for that kind of a brow. Okay, so I've done exactly the opposite of what I said. I did outline and fill in, but it was easy to do that with this. That was nice and easy and straightforward. Again, yeah, it's not a very pigmented pencil, but I like that for being able to completely fill in a brow and not be like totally blocked out. I like that it has the spoolie on the end, as I think most brow pencils should. Now I'd imagine the product you have is literally just that, which a lot of the twist up pencils are, but especially being that it's $2.50, I'd say it's like just a small amount of product. But if you need a brow pencil and you want a cheap one, head to Penneys. Okay, onto the face. I have a primer here. This is the Niod Photography Fluid in the opacity 12%. Wait a second. Highlighting system. This was recommended by Jamie G. I thought it was a primer. It says highlighting system, and I did see who was using something like this. Oh, Jamie, the other Jamie Page. I watched her recently and she was like, this is the Niod Photography something. Maybe it was this, and it turned to be out some sort of a highlighting situation. And I was like, oh, they have another product named a similar name. Maybe I have the wrong one. Oh my god, I have the wrong one. This is a highlighter. I don't know if you can see. Oh, that's so annoying. It's a gold liquid highlight. Beautiful, but not what I wanted. Yeah, and I've had this quite a while, so I can't return it. I was waiting to use it. Waiting with excitement to use my new primer. That is right, isn't it? Let me just, hang on. Oh, Kylie emailed me. The Kylie Cosmetics emailed me. What did they say? So So this is what they said after I sent them the email saying, you know, I was super disappointed after waiting for so long to have some of the shadows be scratched, some of the shadows be smudged with something that isn't the same shadow, something of a different product, and having 2 pans pop out. They said, hello Christine, our shadows are made with super finely milled pigment and some dusting may appear on the packaging. Our palettes were created with this in mind and are easily cleaned with a lightly dampened cloth or baby wipe. What? The problem isn't the little bit of shadow, the problem is so much more than that. How annoying. How annoying. Whatever. So just before I move on from that story, because I filmed this quite a while ago from when I'm editing this, I thought I would insert just the update to that little story while we're here. So like, I'm not the kind of person who likes to complain or kick up any sort of a fuss. I was really hesitant to email them in the first place. But this was such a bad response, I thought, that I just decided not to leave it. I would have normally just said, okay, whatever, they're not going to sort this out. So I decided to follow up really nicely and just say I totally understand that that can happen and I have no issue at all cleaning up a palette, especially when it's been in transit. I can understand, you know, it might get a little bit messy, but these other issues, that's nothing to do with the formula. So then they did respond and say, okay, we have a new one being sent to you. They didn't ask me to send back my one, so that was good that they were sending me a new one free of charge. So I got the new one and it wasn't a whole lot better. It wasn't as bad as the first one, but the writing on the front of it is in like glitter. The Chill Baby is written in glitter and there's like big enough chunks of the glitter missing, but that's fine. That was just the outside. And then the inside, there's one of the shadows that very clearly looks like it had fallen apart and he'd been repressed and pressed back into the pan. And then there's another one where the pan is totally loose. Again, it's not glued in properly at all. It just completely pops out. And so yeah, that's basically where we ended up. I just thought I'd update you as to whether like I heard back and if I got a new palette and stuff. But yeah, that's what happened. So that's that, and back to the video.
It's like a primer, but it gives you the most beautiful glow to your skin. Underneath makeup, without makeup, whatever.
So I think I must have seen her use this in a different video where she didn't say about it being super glowy, I think, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have picked it up because I have oily skin and generally that kind of product isn't for me, but we shall try it. Okay, so it is the right product. I did buy the right one. I just didn't realise what it was exactly. It is like a sheer glowy primer. Oh, this could be lovely actually on clients because I quite like the MAC Strobe Cream for people with drier skin under certain foundations, and this could be like a nice version of that. So, applying the Niod photography fluid. What's that smell? It has some sort of a scent. Like not a fragrance, but I don't know. I'll just apply this on one side, I think, so we can see if it's coming through the foundation. Yeah, so it is like a sheer highlighting liquid. Okay, let's pop on some foundation. So here I have the Kiko Full Coverage 2-in-1 foundation. I have 2 shades, a lighter and a darker, so that I could mix if I need to. It says it's a foundation and concealer, that's why it's a 2-in-1. And I have the shades WB15 is the lighter one and N40 is the darker one. So with the tan, I'll probably be closer to the darker one. And it comes out with like a big doe foot, but I'm just going to pop it onto a palette. Let me just see what that darker one is like. That looks okay. So I picked this up because it said full coverage, which is my jam. Coverage does look good. Hard to say just yet if I would call it full. Because to me, like, full is like maximum full. That's what full means, you know, it's like totally covered, which most foundations are not. It looks quite dewy, but it's hard to say if that is because the primer is on this side. We'll see when I pop it on the other side. Spreading nicely, it doesn't feel like it's setting just yet anyway. So that does help it, you know, be movable. Just going to give my brush a little dry wipe on a tissue in case it picked up any of that primer. I don't want it mixing into the other side. Still fairly dewy looking on this side so far. coverage is definitely a strong medium anyway. I'm just going to use that to pop over my breakouts and scarring here. And also here where it doesn't seem to want to cover. This one. And as you can see, it's still quite dewy on this side. Some of that scarring is still showing through in the center here. So it's not like, so far anyway, it's not my preference of full coverage. Like, it's not like the Urban Decay All Nighter full coverage, but it's not like the kind of foundation where they call it full coverage and then you put it on, you're like, where did they get that? I can understand there is good coverage there. And to some people, if you've good skin, this would be full coverage. Because what is showing through is just my very dark scarring, my pigmentation and stuff. So if you don't have that, then it could be good. Okay, so we'll apply the concealer and see if the foundation sets down any more. So as I was saying, this is probably too light, but we'll see if we can blend it in and mix it with a little bit of foundation. It's in the shade C6. Weird kind of plasticky smell off it. This is the one that when it first came out, some people were saying it was like the new Shape Tape. Right off the bat, I don't think it's the same coverage. Shape Tape is a full coverage concealer. I don't think this is. So far anyway, just blending out that center bit. It was very easy to blend that into the foundation colour. Coverage is okay. It's sitting nicely, it's not looking too dry, it's not looking like creamy shiny or anything. This foundation doesn't seem to be setting much. It is more of a dewy finish. Okay, so for powder then, I have the Fenty Beauty Universal Blotting Powder, which is this their translucent pressed powder. I'm just taking a MAC 168, I think so, 168, yeah. I'm going to press that into the skin. That concealer actually doesn't look like it's creasing as much as I thought it would. This is doing a good job of mattifying, as it should. It's a blotting powder, but I don't feel like I need to layer it at all. One pass over is completely knocking out any shine. Okay, so moving on, I have a bronzer here. This is the Golden Soleil Baked Bronzer 104 from J.Cat. Oh, that's a lot darker than I thought. It's kind of reddish undertones, which I can see now that I'm looking at it actually, yeah. The brown is more of a red, but because it has those gold bits in it, overall it looks warmer. Nice pigment to it. You don't need a whole lot. And it's blending nicely, it's not skipping or anything. That could also be a testament to the Fenty powder underneath. That went on nice and easy. Because I thought this was going to be warmer for some reason, so I was going to add a contour. Now it wasn't going to be a first impressions contour, so that's grand. I don't even need to put that in. And then I have a blush. With this look, to be honest, I probably would have preferred something more pinky, but this is the only new blush, well, new to me blush that I have. It's from MUA Makeup Academy in the shade Papaya Whip. So it's like a peachy colour, which generally I love, but just because I've gone so cool toned on the eye, I would have gone a little bit more cool toned in the blush. Let's see what this is like. That's a nice colour. Beautiful. Okay, now I get to use the Subzero palette better, properly. So this is what it looks like. There is 7 shades. This is the first one that I use. This is the one that's actually more blue. I don't know if that's showing up on camera. No, maybe not. That's the one that I initially had in the inner corner that has more of a blue. In Blanket has more of a pink. They look quite fair in the pan. I'll just swatch them. So that's and that's in Blankets, has more of a pinky sheen. Barely is really pretty. It's like a champagne with just a soft pinky undertone. And then obviously loads of shades of gold and bronze. I think I'll go in with Barely and then maybe add a little bit of that icy blue on top to tie it in. I'm going to use a Morphe M501. Or maybe I'll just use this on its own actually, now that I see it going on. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is a wet highlight. I really like that on its own. I think I'll just keep it on its own actually. I don't want to mess it up. I'll just do the Cupid's bow and just the nose. Okay, for a lip then to finish this up. It's dark outside. I've been doing this so bloody long. I have a lip pencil from Sephora. This is the Sephora brand lip pencil in the shade light brown, number 17. So it's just a little mini version and it's like a regular pencil. It looks like a nice shade. And it's going on easy, it's not too dry. I'm just colouring it in from the edges, but I've nearly coated the whole lip there. And then the lipstick I have is actually from Collection, isn't it? Yeah, Collection, and it's in the number 22 Cafe Au Lait. Yeah, Cafe Au Lait. Nice little nude. I think it's quite similar to the lip pencil I have on in tone. It's just a bit lighter. So that's perfect. Okay guys, I think that is the finished look. I'll give you a close-up so you can see everything properly. So this is how we're looking. I quite like how this look turned out, given that I didn't try any of these products already. It all came together nicely. I really like how the eye look turned out. I love that glitter. I'm excited to try the Nars primer again in like a way that I can see more of the results, as I said, because it does look like there is less creasing on this side, but again, there's so much product going on there. I would just like to test it again. Those Wet n Wild shadows worked nicely. I quite liked the brow pencil actually, and I'm in love with this wet metallic highlight. And I love this lip combo. I love a nude brown lip. If you're new to my channel, you might not know that, but this is my jam. It's a little bit deeper. I normally go for like a little bit of a darker, kind of slightly cooler brown lip liner, a little bit lighter in the center, but this is something that I would like throw on every day. I can totally see myself using this combo again. Oh, and the cheek products. I really like the bronzer and the blush too. I only put on a little bit of blush, so it was kind of hard to judge it too much, but the bronzer I did like. It blended out quite nicely. So that concludes this full face of first impressions. Let me know what you think of the look, what you think of the products. Let me know if you have any product recommendations for me that you think I would like. But yeah, that's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy, please do give a thumbs up. That lets me know that you like this kind of content and it helps out my channel an awful lot. And of course, if you'd like to see more of me, you can subscribe to my channel for free if you want to. So thanks again guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!